did an exercise at a workshop recently where we wrote down, it was exploring our fears, right? And we wrote down something like, "Dear universe, I absolutely refuse to fill in the thing you want," right? "I refuse to be successful beyond my wildest dreams," or whatever you want to write down, right? Because I have a deep fear that, right? And then the prompt's supposed to help you sort of bring up that deep fear. And it was really interesting because, I had different things come up. I'm like, okay. And it wasn't really hitting on the deepest thing or anything. I did get to some of those, which maybe I'll share at a different time. But it was funny because one of them was that if I did become wildly successful, then I would just, my fear, right, is that I would become a different person, like a bad person. I think I wrote down that I would just be an a-hole. And then afterwards, I was reflecting on the fact that, what makes me be like that is not success. It's refusing to have success and then getting jealous when I see other people have success, because it makes me critical, right? For example, I remember showing up to this place and there's a person who kind of does adjacent things to what I would want to do, right? I remember immediately I was like, oh, I sense this person is pompous and I don't like that. And then I was just I noticed different times I would see this person and I would just get kind of critical. And I would just notice everything I didn't like. And that, right, being an a-hole. But when I really dropped into my heart and myself, I was like, okay, I think I'm jealous. I think I'm jealous because the person got there before me, in a sense, is doing it now, doing it younger. But also, it's not even that too. Maybe there's that, but it's also just the pain of not being who I know I can be and doing what I know I can do. And I think that's ultimately what it is. So there's that disconnect between when we aren't showing up and facing the fears and doing the things we like to do and creating that life. And I think we usually have a lot more clarity than we think we do. And B, it creates pain and discomfort. And I think it turns us into the thing we fear, right? So I might say to myself, if I get really successful, then I would just become a complete a-hole. I think I was worried about being pompous myself, right? Or thinking too highly of myself. But when I really look into that, I sort of feel into what it would be like. I'm like, wouldn't I become more of me? And more of me isn't that. I know who I am. and the success that I want would include more compassion. More coming from a place of love rather than less. And so, but also, what is wrong with knowing that you're good at something? Or claiming that, right? How we've sort of decided, or we've been told this story that means that you're bad or arrogant, when maybe it's just that people don't want to feel this, right? The jealousy part. So they decide that you're bad because they won't actually show up to their own success. I'm speaking as someone who's done that. So it was really interesting. I was like, oh, I'm creating the fear by not showing up, by not having the thing that I want. And I had a similar experience of a realization that I was basically being the thing I was judging with this same person, maybe a week or so ago, where I judged that person for kind of moving into a teaching role when I didn't feel like it was invited. And then, later, or the next day or something, I found myself talking with somebody and I moved into a teaching role without being invited, and I was like, for fuck's sake. I was like, I'm that person I'm judging. I was like, two things, right? What if it's not bad? If you have some wisdom. I did ask. Because at least I'm willing to ask before sharing thoughts. But I remember thinking like, yeah, but would a person really say no? And I just really wanted to say what I thought. Like, what if I am actually being that thing, and what I could do is just get more present with my own self. It was nice. It was humbling. It was good. What's nice is I feel like I can see these things without creating shame, just kind of being like, oh, isn't that funny? So I do really appreciate that about myself these days. So yeah, thought of the day.